Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Keys to the Kingdom. I'm Marissa. Today we are finishing up in our Book of Jubilees study. We are in chapters 31 through 35 today. We're going to continue reading through the Book of Jubilees. It's been interesting so far. We are seeing some things that sound just like the Book of Genesis, because after all, the Book of Jubilees is considered the little Genesis. And some things that we don't find in the book of Genesis. So it's interesting to see a little bit of extra information. Last week, I know we saw a lot more dialogue between Abraham and Jacob. So between the grandfather and the grandson, which we don't see in Genesis. We see no dialogue whatsoever with any of the grandsons with their grandfathers. It's kind of odd because these cultures, they lived together. They were very tightly knit. Other than, like Jacob moving off to go find a bride, but then coming back. But they always came back to their families, especially if they were still living. So it's interesting to see here in the Book of Jubilees, we see this dialogue, more dialogue between Jacob and Abraham. And so it'll be interesting to see what we find out today and what we read today. So we're going to start in chapter 31. We're going to read through chapter 35. And we're still in the life of Jacob. So that's where we are right now. Let me go ahead and bring the scriptures up so you can follow along with me. So we're in the Book of Jubilees, chapter 31 through 35. All right, so here's where we left off last week. This is chapter 31. And it says, "On the new month, Jacob spoke to all the people of his house, saying, 'Purify yourselves and change your clothes, and let us get up and go to Bethel, where I vowed a vow to him on the day when I fled from Esau my brother. Let us do this because Elohim has been with me and brought me into this land in peace. You must put away the strange deities that you raise among you.'" Okay. So he's saying, clean your house. They gave up the strange deities, in other words, the idols that they had, and that which was in their ears, and which was on their necks, and the idols which Rachel stole from Laban her father, she gave wholly to Jacob. And he burnt and broke them to pieces and destroyed them and hid them under an oak, which is in the land of Shechem. He went up on the 7th new month in Bethel, and he built an altar at that place where he had slept, and he set up a pillar there. And he sent word to his father Isaac and his mother Rebekah, and he asked to come to Isaac. There Jacob wished to offer his sacrifice. So this is interesting because, in the 7th month, this is when we have our fall feasts. So all of this was happening at that time where we normally celebrate, the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Kippur, Tabernacles. Isaac said, "Let my son Jacob come, and let me see him before I die." Jacob went to his father Isaac and his mother Rebekah to the house of his father Abraham, and he took 2 of his sons with him, Levi and Judah. Okay, this is interesting because we don't see this in Exodus. So he just took Levi and Judah. That is strange because Levi and Judah were the two, they were the younger ones because Reuben and Simeon were the first 2 that were born from Leah, and then Levi and then Judah. So he takes Levi and Judah, and Rebekah came out from the tower to the front of it to kiss Jacob and embrace him. For her spirit had been revived when she heard, "Look, Jacob, your son has come," and she kissed him. She saw his 2 sons, and she recognized them. She said to him, "Are these your sons, my son?" And she embraced them and kissed them and blessed them, saying, "In you shall the offspring of Abraham become illustrious, and you shall prove a blessing on the earth." We don't see this blessing over Levi and Judah at all in the book of Genesis. Jacob went in to Isaac his father, to the room where he lay, and his 2 sons were with him. And he took his father's hand, stooped down, and he kissed him. Isaac held on to the neck of Jacob his son, and wept on his neck. The darkness left the eyes of Isaac, and he saw the 2 sons of Jacob. So prior to this, Isaac was going blind. And this is saying that basically he had a moment where he was able to see the 2 sons of Jacob, Levi and Judah. And he said, "Are these your sons, my son? Because they look like you." He said to Isaac, "They were truly my sons, and you have clearly seen that they are truly my sons." They came near to him, and he turned and kissed them and embraced them both together. The spirit of prophecy came down into his mouth, and he took Levi by his right hand and Judah by his left. He turned to Levi first and began to bless him first, and said to him, "May the Elohim of all, the very master of all the ages, bless you and your children throughout all the ages. May Yah give to you and your offspring greatness and great glory from among all flesh. May Yah cause you and your offspring to draw near to him and to serve in his sanctuary like the messengers of the presence of Yah, and as the pure ones. The offspring of your sons shall be for the glory and greatness and purity of Elohim. May he make them great throughout all the ages. They shall be judges and princes and chiefs of all the offspring of the sons of Jacob. They shall speak the word of Yah in righteousness, and they shall judge all his judgments in righteousness." This is really interesting because we don't see this at all in Genesis. There's no special blessing over Levi and Judah. "They shall declare my ways to Jacob and my paths to Israel. And the blessing of Yah shall be given in their mouths to bless all the offspring of the beloved. Your mother has called your name Levi, and rightly has she called your name. You will be joined to Yah and be the companion of all the sons of Jacob. Let his table be your table, and let your sons eat from it. May your table be full throughout all generations, and let your food not fail in all the ages. Let all who hate you fall down before you, and let all your adversaries be rooted out and perish. Blessed be he that blesses you, and cursed be the nation that curses you." To Judah he said, "May Yah give you strength and power to put all that you hate under your feet. You and one of your sons will be a prince over the sons of Jacob. May your name and the name of your sons go out across every land and region. Then shall the Gentiles fear you, and all the nations of the people shall shake with fear of you. In you will be the help of Jacob, and in you will be found the salvation of Israel." Oh my gosh, so we're seeing a messianic prophecy here, but we don't see that at all in the book of Genesis. "When you sit on the throne which honors of your righteousness, there shall be great peace for all the offering of the sons of the beloved. Blessed be he that blesses you, and cursed be he that hates you, afflicts you, or curses you. They shall be rooted out and destroyed from the earth." He turned and kissed him again and embraced him and rejoiced greatly because he had seen the sons of his son Jacob clearly and truly. He stepped out from between his feet and fell down and bowed down to him and blessed them. He rested there with Isaac, his father, that night, and they ate and drank with joy. He made the 2 sons of Jacob sleep, the one in his right hand and the other in his left. It was counted to him for righteousness. Jacob told his father everything during the night about how Yah had shown him great mercy, and how he had caused him to prosper in all his ways, and how he protected him from all evil. Isaac blessed the Elohim of his father Abraham, who had not withdrawn his mercy and his righteousness from the sons of his servant Isaac. In the morning Jacob told his father Isaac the vow which he had vowed to Yah. He told him of the vision which he had seen, and that he had built an altar. He told him that everything was ready for the sacrifice to be made before Yah as he had vowed. And he had come to see him on donkey. Isaac said to Jacob his son, I am not able to go with you, for I am old and not able to endure the way. Go in peace, my son. I am 165 this day. I am no longer able to journey. Set your mother on a donkey and let her go with you. I know that you have come on my account, my son. May this day be blessed on which you have seen me alive, and I also have seen you, my son. May you prosper and fulfill the vow that you have vowed. Do not put off your vow, for you have been called to account for the vow. Now hurry to perform it, and may he who made all things be pleased. It is him you have vowed the vow. He said to Rebekah, Go with Jacob your son. And Rebekah went with Jacob her son, and Deborah with her, and they came to Bethel. Jacob remembered the prayer with which his father had blessed him and his 2 sons, Levi and Judah. He rejoiced and blessed the Elohim of his fathers Abraham and Isaac. And he said, Now I know that my sons and I have eternal hope in the Elohim of all. Thus it is ordained concerning the 2. They recorded it as an eternal testimony to them on the heavenly tablets, how Isaac blessed his sons. Yeah, I mean, we just don't see that at all in Genesis. It's just, it's interesting. Because we always have known, by reading the book of Genesis, that Jacob always favored Joseph. Joshua. He always favored Joseph because that was his firstborn of Rachel. And now we see, and at this point they're still fairly young. It's surprising that he didn't bring Reuben or Simeon, the 2 eldest of Leah, and didn't bring any of his other sons. I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, chapter 32. That night he stayed in Bethel, and Levi dreamed that he had ordained and made his sons and him the priests of the Most High Elohim forever. Then he awoke from his sleep and blessed Yah. So this is saying that Levi had a dream that he made his sons and him the priests of Most High Elohim forever. We never see a dream about Levi having a dream in the book of Genesis. But apparently here in Jubilees, Levi dreams that he and his family are made priests. Jacob rose early in the morning on the 14th of this month, and he gave a tithe for all that came with him, both of men and cattle, both of gold and every vessel and garment. Yes, he gave tithes of all. So this is before the Torah. It's stating that they were tithing. In those days, Rachel became pregnant with her son Benjamin. Jacob counted his sons, starting from him and going to the oldest, and Levi fell to the portion of Yah. Levi was the 3rd son. 3 is the number of spiritual completeness. His father clothed him in the garments of the priesthood and filled his hands. Yeah, we don't see this at all in Genesis. In the 15th of this month, he brought 14 oxen from among the cattle, and 28 rams, and 49 sheep, and 7 lambs, and 21 kids of the goats to the altar as a burnt offering on the altar of sacrifice. The offering was well-pleasing and a sweet odor before Elohim. This was his offering, done in acknowledgement of the vow in which he had promised that he would give a tenth with their fruit offerings and their drink offerings. When the fire had consumed it, he burnt incense over the fire for a thank offering. He sacrificed 2 oxen and 4 rams and 4 sheep, 4 male goats and 2 sheep of a year old, and 2 kids of the goats. This he did daily for 7 days. He, his men, and all his sons were eating this with joy during 7 days, and blessing and thanking Yah, who had delivered him out of all his tribulation and gave him his promise. He tithed all the clean animals and made a burnt sacrifice, but he did not give the unclean animals to Levi his son. He gave him responsibility for all the souls of the men. Levi acted in the priestly office at Bethel in the presence of Jacob his father. So this is insinuating that Levi was sort of being groomed for this position of priest before they were ever even taken into the land of Egypt. He was a priest there, and Jacob gave his vow, and he gave a tithe to Yah again and sanctified it, and it became pure to him. For this reason it is ordained on the heavenly tablets as a law, for the offering of the tithe should be eaten in the presence of Yah every year in the place where it is chosen, that his name should live and reside. This law has no limit of days forever. That is very interesting. That the offering of the tithe should be eaten in the presence of Yah every year, in the place where it is chosen that his name should live and reside. This law has no limit of days forever. This law is written so that it may be fulfilled every year. The second tithe should be eaten in the presence of Yah, in the place where it has been chosen, and nothing shall be left over from it from this year to the following year. In this year shall the seed be eaten unto the days of the gathering of the seed of the year. The wine shall be consumed until the days of the wine, and the oil unto the days of its season. All that is left of it and all that becomes old will be regarded as spoiled. Let it be burned with fire, for it is unclean. Again, it's interesting that we're reading this portion after reading the book of Leviticus, but it talks about just, not eating spoiled food, things that are old. You need to eat them while they're good and then burn them, throw them away. All the tithes of the oxen and sheep shall be pure to Yah, and shall belong to his priests. They shall eat before him from year to year, for thus it is ordained and written in the heavenly tablets regarding the tithe. On the following night, on the 22nd day of this month, Jacob resolved to build that place and to surround the court with a wall, and to sanctify it and make it pure for himself and his children after him. So, okay, this is a little confusing, because this is saying that Jacob resolved to build the place and to surround the court with a wall and to sanctify it. I don't know what this means, to build that place and surround the court with a wall. Yah appeared to him by night and blessed him and said to him, "Your name shall not be called Jacob, but they will call your name Israel." And he said to him again, "I am Yah who created the heaven and the earth, and I will increase you and multiply you greatly. And kings shall come forth from you, and they shall be judges everywhere the foot of the sons of men have walked. I will give your offspring all the earth that is under heaven." So this is saying, I will give your offspring all the earth that is under heaven. They shall judge all the nations as they desire. After that, they shall possess the entire earth and inherit it forever. So, check this out. He's telling Jacob, okay, that he's going to multiply him. Kings shall come forth from him. They will be judges everywhere. Okay, he's talking about the whole earth. He's not just talking about Israel. I will give to your offspring all the earth that is under heaven. They shall judge all the nations as they desire. So it sounds like he's saying that your offspring from the 12 tribes will be rulers over all the nations. Somehow, their offspring will be scattered all over the earth and become rulers and judges. And they shall possess the entire earth and inherit it forever. And he finished speaking with him, and he went up from him. Jacob watched until he had ascended into heaven. In a vision at night, he saw a messenger descend from heaven with 7 tablets in his hand. Okay, a vision at night. A messenger, which would be an angelic being, descended from heaven with 7 tablets in his hands and gave them to Jacob. And he read them and knew all that was written on it would happen to him and his sons throughout all the ages. He showed him all that was written on the tablets and said to him, "Do not build on this place, and do not make an eternal sanctuary, and do not live here. This is not the place. Go to the house of Abraham your father and live with Isaac your father until the day he dies." So Jacob was apparently trying to build what he felt was going to be the eternal sanctuary. And an angelic being comes down with 7 tablets and tells him, "No, this is not the place. Go back to your father until the day he dies. For in Egypt you will die in peace, and in this land you will be buried with honor in the sepulchre of your fathers with Abraham and Isaac." So he's telling him, you're going to die in Egypt. "Do not fear, as you have seen and read, it shall be. It shall all be. Write down everything that you have seen and read." Jacob said, "Master, how can I remember all that I have read and seen?" He said to him, "I will bring all things to your remembrance." That is so true. God will absolutely do that. He will bring everything you need to know to the front of your memory. He ascended from Jacob, and Jacob awoke from his sleep. He remembered everything that he had read and seen, and he wrote down all the words. He celebrated there yet another day, and he sacrificed on that day as he had sacrificed on all the former days. He called its name Addition, because this day was added. In the former days he called the feast. It was made known and revealed to him, and it was written on the heavenly tablets that he should celebrate the day and add it to the 7 days of the feast. So I'm pretty sure this is referring to the 8th day assembly that we have added to the end of the 7 days of the Feast of Tabernacles. That's what it sounds like, because we do have that 8th day that's added right at the end of the 7 days of the Feast of Tabernacles. Its name was called Addition, because it was recorded among the days of the feast days, according to the number of the days of the year. On the 23rd of this month, Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and they buried her beneath the city under the oak of the river. He called the name of this place the River of Deborah, and he called the oak of the mourning of Deborah. Rebekah departed and returned to her house to his father Isaac. Jacob sent rams and sheep and male goats by her so that she should prepare a meal for his father, such as he desired. He followed his mother until he came to the land of Cabraton, and he lived there. I don't recall ever seeing that name in the book of Genesis, unless it's spelled differently. That doesn't sound familiar. Rachel gave birth to a son in the night and called his name Son of My Sorrow, for she broke down while giving birth to him. But his father called his name Benjamin. This happened on the 11th day of the 11th month in the first of the 6th week of Jubilee. Rachel died there, and she was buried in the land of Ephrath, the same as Bethlehem. So she died in Bethlehem. And Jacob built a pillar on the grave of Rachel on the road above her grave. All right, chapter 33. So Jacob went to live to the south of Magdaladreph. He and Leah, his wife, went to his father Isaac on the 10th new month. Reuben saw Bilhah, Rachel's maid, the concubine of his father, bathing in the water in a secret place, and he loved her. He hid himself at night, and he entered the house of Bilhah at night. He found her sleeping alone in her bed in her house. He had sex with her, and she awoke and saw that it was Reuben lying with her in the bed. She uncovered the border of her covering and grabbed him and cried out when she discovered it was Reuben. She was ashamed because of him and released her hand from him, and he fled. Because of this, she mourned greatly and did not tell anyone. When Jacob returned and sought her, she said to him, "I am not clean for you. I have been defiled in regards to you. Reuben has defiled me and has had sex with me in the night." So he basically came and raped her. I was asleep and did not realize he was there until he uncovered my skirt and had sex with me. Jacob was very angry with Reuben because he had sex with Bilhah because he had uncovered his father's skirt. Basically, I mean, we do see in the story of Genesis where where Reuben sleeps with Bilhah. We just don't see this dialogue happening. Jacob did not approach her again because Reuben had defiled her. And as for any man who uncovers his father's skirt, which means sleeps with his father's wife, his deed is wicked greatly, for he is disgusting to Yah. For this reason it is written and ordained in the heavenly tablets that a man should not lie with his father's wife, and should not uncover his father's skirt. This is unclean, and they shall surely die together, the man who lies with his father's wife, and the woman also, for they have committed uncleanness on the earth. There shall be nothing unclean before our Elohim in the nation that he has chosen for himself as a possession. Again, it is written a second time, Cursed be he who lies with the wife of his father, for he has uncovered his father's shame. All the pure ones of Yah said, So be it, so be it. Moses, command the children of Israel so that they observe this word. It entails a punishment of death. It is unclean, and there is no atonement there is no atonement forever for the man who has committed this. He's saying there's literally no atonement for the man who has slept with his father's wife. He is to be put to death. Kill him by stoning, root him out from among the people of our Elohim. No man who does so in Israel will be permitted to remain alive a single day on earth. He is abominable and unclean. Do not let them say, Reuben was granted life and forgiveness after he had sex with his father's concubine, although she had a husband and her husband Jacob, his father, was still alive. Until that time, the ordinance and judgment and law had not been revealed in its completeness for all. Okay, so this is saying that the Torah was partially given. Like, the law was there, but, the law for judgment for what was to be done to that person was not yet complete. Okay? So, the law existed, but the judgment for the law was not clear yet. In your days it has been revealed as a law of seasons and of days. It is an everlasting law for all generations forever. For this law has no limit of days and no atonement for it. Basically, there's no atonement. You have no atonement for it. And it says they must both be rooted out of the entire nation. On the day they committed it, they shall be killed. Moses, write it down for Israel that they may observe it and do according to these words, and not commit a sin punishable by death. Yah or Elohim is judge, who does not respect persons or position and accepts no gifts. Tell them these words of the covenant, that they may hear and observe, and be on their guard with respect to them, and do not be destroyed and rooted out of the land for an uncleanness and an abomination and a contamination and a pollution are all they who commit it on the earth before our Elohim. There is no greater sin on earth than fornication that they commit. Israel is a pure nation to Yah its Elohim, and a nation of inheritance. It is a priestly and royal nation, and for his own possession. There shall appear no such uncleanness among the pure nation. God was very serious about the sins of fornication, because after all, it's the angels that had come down and mated with the daughters of man and gave rise to the Nephilim, which is why he had to flood the earth to begin with. In the 3rd year of the 6th week, Jacob and all his sons went and lived in the house of Abraham near Isaac his father and Rebekah his mother. These were the names of the sons of Jacob. The firstborn was Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, which are the sons of Leah. The sons of Rachel are Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah are Dan and Naphtali, and the sons of Zilpah, Gad and Asher. Dinah is the daughter of Leah, the only daughter of Jacob. They came and bowed themselves to Isaac and Rebekah. When they saw them, they blessed Jacob and all his sons, and Isaac rejoiced greatly, for he saw the sons of Jacob, his younger son, and he blessed them. All right, chapter 34. In the 6th year of this week of the 44th Jubilee, Jacob sent his sons and his servants to pasture their sheep in the pastures of Shechem. The 7 kings of the Amorites assembled themselves together to fight against them and kill them. They hid themselves under the trees to take their cattle as booty. Jacob, Levi, Judah, and Joseph were in the house with Isaac their father, for his spirit was sorrowful, and they could not leave him. Benjamin was the youngest, and for this reason he remained with his father. The king of Taphu, the king of Arisa, the king of Saragon, the king of Selo, the king of Gaas, the king of Bethoron, the king of Meaneseker, and all those who dwell in these mountains and who dwell in the woods in the land of Canaan came. They announced to Jacob, saying, "Look, the kings of the Amorites have surrounded your sons and plundered their herds." And he left his house, and he and his 3 sons, and all the servants of his father, and his own servants, and he went against them with 6,000 men who carried swords. He killed them in the pastures of Shechem, and pursued those who fled, and he killed them with the edges of the sword, and he killed Arisa, and Taphu, and Saragon, and Selo, and Amani, Sakir, and Gagas, and he recovered his herds. He conquered them and imposed tribute on them that they should pay him 5 fruit products of their land. He built the cities of Robel and Temnatares. None of this is actually in Genesis. We don't see Jacob building any cities, and he doesn't take a tribute from anybody that he fights. He returned in peace and made peace with them, and they became his servants until the day that he and his sons went down to Egypt. In the 7th year of this week, he sent Joseph from his house to the land of Shechem to learn about the welfare of his brothers. He found them in the land of Dothan. They dealt treacherously with him and formed a plot against him to kill him, but they changed their minds and sold him to Ishmaelite merchants. Okay, so this is when they sell Joseph to the Ishmaelites. They brought him down to Egypt and sold him to Potiphar, the eunuch of Pharaoh, the chief of the cooks and priest of the city of Elu. The sons of Jacob slaughtered a kid and dipped Joseph's coat in the blood and sent it to Jacob their father on the 10th of the 7th month. That's interesting. That's interesting because, again, we know in the 7th month, this is when we are keeping the fall feasts during the 7th month. They brought it to him in the evening, and he mourned all that night. He became feverish with mourning from Joseph's death, and he said, "An evil beast has devoured Joseph." All the members of his house mourned and grieved with him all that day. His sons and his daughter got up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted for his son. On that day, Bilhah heard that Joseph had perished, and she died mourning him. She was living in Krephatif. Remember, Bilhah probably had to leave, maybe because of what Reuben did, maybe? And Dinah, his daughter, died after Joseph perished. So this is kind of crazy. So Bilhah dies mourning Joseph. And then Dinah, which would have been his half-sister, died after Joseph perished. There were now 3 reasons for Israel to mourn in 1 month. They buried Bilhah next to the tomb of Rachel and Dinah his daughter. They were all buried there. He mourned for Joseph 1 year and did not cease, for he said, "Let me go down to my grave mourning for my son." For this reason it is ordained for the children of Israel that they should remember and mourn on the 10th of the 7th month. On that day the news came which Jacob wept for Joseph. On this day they should make atonement for their sins. That is the Day of Atonement, actually. So It's interesting that this is talking about Day of Atonement here. They should make atonement for their sins for themselves with a young goat and a tenth of the 7th month once a year, for they have grieved the sorrow of their father regarding Joseph his son. So this book of Jubilees is connecting the mourning of Jacob for Joseph with the Day of Atonement, which is on the 10th day of the 7th month. That's the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. This day once a year has been ordained that they should grieve on it for their sins and for all their transgressions and for all their errors, so that they might cleanse themselves. After Joseph perished, the sons of Jacob took to themselves wives. The name of Reuben's wife is Ada. The name of Simeon's wife is Adolbaz, a Canaanite. Oh, so yeah, because we do hear about Simeon taking a Canaanite wife. The name of Levi's wife is Melcha, the daughters of Aram, of the offspring of the sons of Terah. So Levi married within the family. The name of Judah's wife is Betasuel, a Canaanite. Remember, Judah went off and married a Canaanite wife. The name of Issachar's wife is Azakah. The name of Zebulun's wife is Neiman. The name of Dan's wife is Eglah. The name of Naphtali's wife is Rasu of Mesopotamia. So Naphtali marries a Mesopotamian wife. The name of Gad's wife is Makkah. The name of Asher's wife is Ijona. The name of Joseph's wife is Asenath, the Egyptian. Because remember, Joseph is taken to Egypt and Pharaoh gives him his daughter. And, I'm sorry. The name of Benjamin's wife is Ejaska. Okay, that's interesting. All right, last chapter, guys. Chapter 35. We're going to finish up with this chapter. In the first year of the first week of the 45th Jubilee, Rebekah called Jacob her son and commanded him regarding his father and regarding his brother, that he should honor them all the days of his life. Jacob said, I will do everything you have commanded. I will honor them. I will be honor and greatness. This will be honor and greatness to me and righteousness before Yah. Mother, you know from the time I was born until this day, all my deeds and all that is in my heart, I will always think good concerning all. Why should I not do this thing which you have commanded me, that I should honor my father and my brother? Tell me, mother, what perversity have you seen in me, and I shall turn away from it, and mercy will be on me. She said to him, my son, in all my days I have not seen any perverseness in you, but only upright deeds. Yet I will tell you the truth, my son, I shall die this year. I shall not survive this year in my life. I have seen the day of my death in a dream. So Rebekah apparently dreams about when she's going to die. I should not live beyond 155 years. I have completed all the days that I am to live my life. Jacob laughed at the words of his mother, because his mother had said she should die. She was sitting across from him in possession of her strength, and she was still strong. She came and went as she wished. Basically, she was still healthy. She could see well, and her teeth were strong. No sickness had touched her all the days of her life. Jacob said to her, if my days of life are close to yours, and my strength remain with me as your strength, I will be blessed, mother. You will not die. You are simply joking with me regarding your death. She went in to Isaac and said to him, I make one request of you. Make Esau swear that he will not injure Jacob, nor pursue him with intent to harm him. You know Esau's thoughts have been perverse from his youth, and there is no goodness in him. He desires to kill him after you die. You know all that he has done since the day Jacob his brother went to Haran until this day. He has forsaken us with his whole heart and has done evil to us. He has stolen your flocks and carried off all your possessions while you watched. When we asked him and begged him for what was our own, he did as a man or a stranger who was taking pity on us, giving us a token like one gives alms to a beggar. He is bitter against you because you blessed Jacob, your perfect and upright son. There is no evil, but only goodness in Jacob. Since he came from Haran to this day, he has not robbed us of anything. He always brings us everything in its season. He rejoices and blesses us with all his heart when we take his hands. And he has not parted from us since he has come from Haran until this day. And he returns with us continually at home, honoring us. Isaac said to her, I also know and see the deeds of Jacob who is with us, how he honors us with all his heart. Before I loved Esau more than Jacob because he was the firstborn. But now I love Jacob more than Esau, for Esau has done many evil deeds, and there is no righteousness in him, and all his ways are unrighteous and violent. My heart is troubled because of all his deeds. Neither he nor his offspring will be exempt, because they are those who will be destroyed from the earth, and who will be rooted out from under heaven. He and his children have forsaken the Elohim of Abraham, and gone after wives, and after their uncleanness, and after their error. You told me to make him swear that he will not kill Jacob his brother, but even if he swears, he will not abide by his oath. He will not do good, but evil only. If he desires to kill Jacob his brother, then unto Jacob's hands he will be given. He will not escape from Jacob's hands. Do not be afraid for Jacob, for the guardian of Jacob is great and powerful, honored and praised more than the guardian of Esau. So you see what Isaac is saying here? He's saying, don't be afraid for Jacob, for the guardian of Jacob, the one who guards Jacob, is great and powerful, honored and praised more than the guardian of Esau, because we know who the guardian of Esau was, for he was following after the wicked one, the fallen one. Rebekah called for Esau, and he came to her, and she said to him, I have a request of you, my son. Promise to do it, my son. He said, I will do everything that you say to me, and I will not refuse your request. She said, I ask that the day I die, you will take me in and bury me near Sarah, your father's mother, and that you and Jacob will love each other, and that neither will desire evil against the other, but have mutual love only. Do this so that you will prosper, my son, and be honored in all of the land, and no enemy will rejoice over you. You will be a blessing and a mercy in the eyes of all those that love you. He said, I will do all that you have told me. I shall bury you on the day that you die near Sarah, my father's mother, as you have desired, that her bones may be near your bones. Jacob, my brother, I shall love above all flesh. I have only one brother in all the earth but him. It is only what is expected of me. It is no great thing if I love him, for he is my brother, and we are sewn together in your body. We were sewn together in your body, and together we came out of your womb. If I do not love my brother, whom shall I love? I beg you to exhort Jacob concerning me and concerning my sons, for I know that he will assuredly be king over me and my sons. For on the day that my father blessed him, he made him the higher and me the lower. I swear to you that I shall love him and not desire evil against him all the days of my life, but good only. And he swore to her concerning all this matter. While Esau was there, she called Jacob and gave him her orders according to the words that she had spoken to Esau. He said, I shall do your pleasure. Believe me that no evil will proceed from me or from my sons against Esau. I shall be first in nothing except in love only. She and her sons ate and drank that night, and she died. 3 jubilees in 1 week, and 1 year old that night. Her 2 sons, Jacob and Esau, buried her in the double cave near Sarah, their father's mother. Okay, so we see quite a few things in these chapters that we don't see in the book of Genesis. And certainly a lot of dialogue that we don't see. Some prophecies that we don't see, particularly having to do with the one where Isaac is speaking over Levi and Judah. We don't see that at all. And it almost reminds you of when Jacob does the blessings over his sons, and gives a special blessing to Ephraim and Manasseh. And I think that's very interesting. Yeah, because Jacob gives a special blessing to Ephraim and Manasseh. So it is very similar to what we're seeing here in Jubilees, where Isaac did that with Levi and Judah. Very interesting. I can't wait to see what's in further chapters and how much of it we see in the book of Genesis and how much we have not yet read, or what might not be in there. So we'll pick up in chapter 36 next week. As a reminder, in case you did not see the video we just did earlier today regarding the book of Leviticus, I did make mention of an event that we have posted in Keys to the Kingdom. Okay, this is August 7th and August 8th. It's going to be a ladies' fellowship weekend, August 7th and August 8th, here in Dunedin, Florida. I know that a lot of you do not live here. I know that most of you are in other states. So, you know, we might have a few, we might have a handful, we might have several people who are able to make it. So I'll leave it in God's hands, but we are having a ladies' fellowship weekend, August 7th and August 8th. That Saturday and that Sunday here in Dunedin, Florida. It's just a time for us ladies to come together, get to know each other, fellowship together, break bread together. So I hope to see you there. I hope you can make it if you're able to make it. Okay? Amen. And we will probably pick up maybe this weekend or next Tuesday. We'll just pick up where we left off with both of our readings. Initially, I was trying to do one on Shabbat and one on Tuesday. It just all depends on my schedule. Sometimes I just can't make it happen, but we'll get it in. And if you can't make the live video, then that's fine. Go back and watch the recording and or do your personal reading on your in your personal time. All right, guys. I hope to see you next week, and I hope you will consider coming to the Ladies Fellowship weekend, August 7th and 8th. I really hope to see you guys there, and hope to meet some of you at that time. Okay? God bless you. May He bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up His countenance upon you and be gracious unto you. And may He shine His face upon you in the name of the Prince of all Peace, Yeshua HaMashiach, our Messiah. God bless you guys. Have a great week.